Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Chickendew versus Tarsh in round 2 of the 4th Asia Pacific tournament, and today we are going to be seeing Hill 112. On the side of the Allies, Chickendew is bringing out the 15th Infantry Scots and Tarsh is using his Panzer Lehr. But before I go on with the commentary, there is one thing I wanted to mention, and that is that the sign-ups for Season 2 of the Steel Division League are soon coming to a close. So if you guys are interested in signing up for the second season of the Steel Division League, interested in playing some competitive games, you will be required to play 2 games every week. And usually that's on the same day. So if you can spare one day to play 2 games in a week, then that's the place you want to be if you want to get into the competitive scene of Steel Division. Now, Rangru and Khan Ulrich, they do a lot of casts for the Steel Division League, so you will be featured in those videos as well if you have good games. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities to really get involved in the community. I'll leave a link to the sign up in the description, and I'll also leave a link to the rule set as well, so go and check those out, and if you feel like you're up for it, go ahead and sign up. So let's get back to this game, shall we? Previously we saw Tarsh defeat Minson on KPK duelists, and he did a really good job of sort of not falling behind in phase A, mainly in part to Minson's lack of aggression, but also in part to him being aggressive himself, and he kind of created that buffer for him to therefore come on strong in phase B and phase C. He had 2 King Tigers by the end of that game, and that is not something you see very often, and I doubt we're probably going to see it on this particular map. Hill 112 is a bit different for the Panzer Lehr, especially against the 15th Infantry Scots. Now the 15th Infantry, if they start with an AVRE, that can be extremely difficult for the Panzer Lehr to deal with. But let's have a look at the units that have come down. So Chickendew on this top side, he has a 6-pounder. There's going to be some recon there. He's also got, of course, a rifles unit. Further down, it's going to be a similar setup. And on the bottom side, a lot of rifles units. That is a solid 4 rifles with another 6-pounder and a Churchill 5. So 3 AT guns start for the 15th Infantry. On the side of Tarsh, he's going for 2 Pak 38s. He has 2 2341 SPWs, and then he has a 258 heading to the top side alongside some Panzergrens for the mid and some Panzergrens for the bottom side. Now I think in total in phase A the Panzer Lehr can only get 4 Panzergrens, so he's going to have to be very careful, especially against a division like the 15th Infantry Scots, not to lose his Panzergrens, because the high availability from Chickendew can definitely do a lot of damage. Now Chickendew did get caught out here, lost one of his rifle squads to one of these 2-3-4-1s, and look at the damage that can do to the infantry if it gets on target. Absolutely incredible. Now there is going to be honey brought into the bottom side, and if there's no AT gun nearby, then this is actually a really good choice, because the honey can break through a 2-3-4-1 very easily. But with 2 units of rifles dying on the bottom side, these Panzergrens are definitely making a hard push into this town, and it may allow Tarsh to gain some serious ground early on, which might assist him moving later in the game. Now the 6-pounder does manage to one-shot the 2-3-4-1, which is going to remove the support that the Panzergrens had against the rifles. However, rifles, or the Panzergrens plus the half-track, easily going to be able to take out these rifles and possibly even surrender them here. They're going to get within the 100-meter range. Job done. So regardless of losing that recon unit early on, he's still in a pretty good position. I'd like to see these Panzergrens try and get into these buildings as soon as possible, because it's not like a 6-pounder can shoot him, or shoot his infantry at least. So yeah, that's a nice move there. I like that Tarsh is going to make that happen, because it will cause issues for Chickendew if he wants to try and push back on the bottom side. So once again, we do see that Tarsh is finding an advantage in phase A when he probably shouldn't be. The 2-3-4-1's going to be engaging this rifle squad. Panzergrens are also pinning them down and doing a lot of damage with the MG42s. This 2-3-4-1 could also take care of this MG carrier when it reveals itself. However, the 6-pounder is waiting to get a shot up there, and that may well occur. So the honey is arriving. That is getting dangerously close to Tarsh's Panzergrens. Honestly, those Panzergrens have the chance to hit them with the Panzerfaust, but nope. It looks like Chickendew thought better of moving into that town. He's going to wait for his rifles to arrive, which is exactly the right thing to do. So the 2-3-4-1 there is now trying to hit this MMG carrier. Does find the kill. That is very important. Basically stops that MMG carrier supporting any infantry push into this tree line. So yeah, Tarsh sitting on a +1. Really solid play from him early on in this game. Now I still believe that the 15th Infantry, especially moving into Phase B, should have quite a nice advantage. Yes, the Panzer Lehr can bring out something like a King Tiger in Phase B, but Chickendew's cost of forces is a lot less. Like, he can bring in like a Churchill 7 for like less than half the price, and that will really put the pain onto Tarsh, and he's going to have to try and find units that can deal with that effectively. Also, the other thing about the 15th Infantry versus the Panzer Lehr is there is a lot of 17-pounders, and those are perfect for killing off Panthers and King Tigers alike. So the MMG carrier has come down from the hill without the 2-3-4-1 there to help. That's going to be easily taken care of. The honey can quite simply run those down and then just get the shot onto the half-track to kill that off as well. And that's going to clean up this bottom side. So nice patience here from Chickendew. Didn't get over aggressive with the honey. I was kind of convinced he was going to lose it to the Panzerfaust there because he didn't realise the Panzergrens had moved forwards, but he's a better player than that. So he brought in the rifles, made sure he spotted the Panzergrens first, and yes, he lost 3 men to do so, but he took out the half-track and the Panzergren, which removes 1 more availability from Tarsh. AT gun is going to come down there from Tarsh, but that's just going to give a target to this Churchill 5. These Pak 38s are of course only 1,000 meter range, so the Churchill should be able to hit it from the 1,200 meter range. Now this half-track's pushing up quite aggressively here. The 2-3-4-1 did get a track wheel damage from this 6-pounder, but I'm pretty sure this half-track's dead. Yeah, it got way too close. Panzergrens would have been needed there in order to sort of pin down that 6-pounder before anything can be done about it, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to see, because if they pin down these rifles, there's nothing to stop them really from continuing to push on that top side and take out the 6-pounder. And regardless of the fact that Chickendew, or Tarsh, lost his Panzergrens and half-track down here and the 2-3-4-1, he's still done a good job in Phase A of not giving his opponent too much of an advantage. Usually I wouldn't agree with like this much aggression, but I mean, he's definitely made it pay off so far, I think. And the Puma there taking out the MMG carrier is very nice, although the Churchill is going to get a shot onto this Pak 38, and the second shot should get the pin there and possibly the kill if it hits on target. So not a direct hit, but does get the pin either way. Honey is going to be coming up the hill here, going to be opening up with its machine guns, and that has the potential to be an easily surrendered Panzergren. This Puma really needs to get into position as quickly as possible, and it has done. It's found a really nice line of sight actually to engage the honey there. Not sure where those Panzergrens were told to go, but definitely not in the right direction. Wow, this Churchill 5 has found itself track wheel damaged. It did get shot at by the Puma down here, but the kill not found. Tarsh has the Puma currently attacking those rifles when he otherwise wants to, you know, change it to the target to the Churchill 5. That would be more ideal. He's starting to pin these rifles. In the mid we can see another honey trying to push through, but a Pak 38's got that covered. And at that close range, honestly, the Pak 38 is quite likely to get the kill. Yeah, so it goes down. Puma's just going to keep trying to hit this Churchill 5, but now the honey's got involved on this bottom side. 2-star Puma should win against the honey. We'll just have to wait and see though. A third Puma coming into the mid as well. So that's 3 Pumas early on. and is definitely keeping it roughly 50-50, which is all he really needs to do. Like, he can see the +1 early and still come back late game as the Panzer Lehr. On the side of Chickendew, he really needs to just get the job done now as much as he can, because he doesn't want to be fighting a Phase C Panzer Lehr. That is not where you want to be. Now the 6-pounder here did take out a unit further up. What exactly was that? I think it was a 258. But yeah, the 6-pounder doing a good job there. Takes out the half-track in the mid as well. 6-pounder has arrived on this bottom side, and if that unloads in the face of the Puma, then that Puma could be in trouble, because the thing is with this Puma, it only has 1 HE. So it takes ages to pin down something like a 6-pounder. And therefore the 6-pounder should have plenty of shots, forcing that Puma back. Now the Panzergren's coming under fire once again from the Honey. I'm pretty sure Chickendew's just trying to like bait this Puma into line of sight of the 6-pounder. But Tarsh knows better. He's going to use that tree line to just find the quick line of sight there. Forces the Honey back again. It's good micro from Chickendew actually not allowing that engagement to occur anyway. So really, really nice plays on both sides so far. But I would like to see an AVRE if I'm honest, because it's extremely difficult for Tarsh to deal with in Phase A. We are, however, 50 seconds away from Phase B, so we'll have to see if Tarsh can bring out anything heavier that will allow him to stabilise towards the later phases of the game. So it looks like just 258 Puma combo in the mid and the bottom side. 6-pounder is kind of waiting though for these vehicles to get a little close. There's only one speed through for the mid. There isn't really one for the bottom, and there isn't one for the top. And honestly, that could definitely mean that Tarsh gets caught out by these AT guns more than he needs to, because the very high optics of the speed troop are generally the only thing that will spot a 6-pounder in a tree line before it's too late. Like, Pumas are great and all, but only really for their combat capability, because the high optics really isn't anything spectacular. And in this case, while the 6-pounder's actually just been revealed by firing at the half-track, the 258's just going to go for a direct attack order there. I'm not keen on that at all. 6-pounder could easily get the kill onto the 258 if Tarsh isn't careful. A fire position command would be a lot better. And yeah, like I said, 258's going to go down. Like, fire positioning just short of the 6-pounder with that 258 would be way more preferable, so we didn't have to lose that unit in the centre unnecessarily. Now, speaking of 1 HE versus AT guns, it's the same deal for the Honey here. It doesn't really want to be taking on Pak 38s if he can help it, but the Churchill well on the case, which is good. Rifles still moving forwards and taking ground. 6-pounder is going to be able to get a shot off onto this Puma. It's currently on return fire. I think Chickendew wants that to sort of recover its morale if he can. The Pak 38 did take out that Bren carrier. Now we see that there is a Churchill 7 on the way. I mentioned that we might see one of these, and it's definitely good to help him push through in Phase B, as long as there's nothing really heavy coming out of the side of Tarsh. But as long as he keeps the pressure up and forces Tarsh to continue to bring in more cheaper units, then we won't be seeing a King Tiger anytime soon. So 6-pounder there, one shot onto the Puma, takes out the half-track on the top hill as well. Very nice job indeed. These 6-pounders have really been paying off actually for Chickendew early on. This 6-pounder has been forced back for now. I think that was due to the mortar fire here. Now this Panzergren has found the 6-pounder here. Probably would have been preferable to let that happen before the Puma died, but it is what it is. Right, this command carrier, not entirely sure if that is meant to be there with a command unit inside. I'm assuming that's supposed to be coming in for the bottom side, so I hope we see that a little bit later on. But the Churchill 7 in the meantime, just going to face tank the Pak 38, can very easily do so. Nice mortar fire on the top side from Tarsh though, is going to pin down 2 units of rifles here. The Recce have also been spotted, which is going to make things very difficult for Chickendew to sort of control this top side, because without recon there, Tarsh can really work around Chickendew's units with the Puma and the SBW-2341. Now there is a 53% territory lead for Chickendew currently, and that's definitely racking him up some points, but we only have now 6 minutes and 45 seconds until phase C, and that's when the Panzer Lehr should really shine. In phase B, Chickendew has a lot more income than Tarsh, so should really be making a lot of ground in this phase. That Pak 38 going to be pinned down. You can see that the 2341 on the top side did get killed by the 6-pounder. Really nice kill there. Churchill 7 is just waiting to get that last shot onto the Pak 38. Panzergren's also being pinned down in the process. Tarsh's defences really are starting to be picked apart, honestly. He has brought in a Vespa. I'm assuming that's just because the AT guns are getting the better of him. But with a mortar carrier on the top side about to take out this 6-pounder, or at least you'd hope so, that 6-pounder can then be moved elsewhere to take care of other 6-pounders, whilst he saves cash to spend on other things. Because I think bringing in like a 150 point Vespa in phase B at this point is pretty bad, especially when you can likely see both this Churchill 7 and a crocodile heading your way. It's pretty easy to identify this as a crocodile as well, due to its like carriage that it pulls behind it with all the fuel in it. Now the 257 did clean up the 6-pounder on the top side. However, I'm not quite sure how long this Pak 38 in the mid is going to last for Tarsh either. 233 is coming in for Tarsh. That's going to be helping pin down rifles at a distance. Actually 5 positioning that towards the 6-pounder. 6-pounder is going to be pinned down though by the Panzergrens. On this bottom side, Churchill's engaging the Puma, but the Puma is going to be firing back, getting the pin. Driver knocked out. It's going to be hard to actually penetrate that armor though for the Puma unless it gets a side shot, and you can see currently it's just falling back with its front armor facing, which is good for Chickendew. Now we can see that there is an AT gun coming into the mid, and that's going to be a 17-pounder. That's going to make it very difficult for Tarsh to use any of his heavy armor. Now considering that that was brought in, however, does kind of give more relevance to this Vespa. So maybe we will see that actually get some kills here, some significant kills. Oh, Panzergrens getting into this tree line. Can they find the kill? They cannot. Crocodile going to be safe for now. Panzergrens getting pinned down by the flames, and that is some very dead Panzer Grenadiers. The Puma getting involved though. Can the Honey survive? Surely only a matter of time until that Puma hits something. Wow. That's pretty spectacular how badly that Puma missed. But either way, Honey's going to get away with it for now. Crocodile will be the one coming into view. And that's going to be hard for the Puma to really take on. Now what we can see on this bottom side is quite a build-up of forces. Looks like Chickendew's idea is to use the support of the 6-pounder alongside the Honey and the Churchill 5 to make some ground down here. We can see, however, that the Puma has been killed, and it looks like it was because of this 6-pounder moving up very aggressively. Vespa's going to be coming in with the arty now, but just in general, the availability on the side of the 15th Infantry Scots really coming into play now. We can see a Tiger has been purchased, and this is okay, but it's going to be able to trade with a Churchill at max range, or maybe even 900 meter range it would need in order to penetrate effectively. But the Churchill will not be able to penetrate a Tiger at 1200 meter range, or not 1200 meter, 900 meter range. So yeah, the Tiger has a little bit of an advantage, but it's not the most efficient unit in the world for taking care of Churchills at this point. I guess it might be the best he has. Anyway, on this bottom side, Panzergrens, they're not in a building. They're trying their best to pin down some rifles, however. That's why Tarsh's units on the ground have become very scarce. He's obviously been saving for that Befehltiger for quite a while. It's about 3 ticks at this phase. It's like 95 points a tick. You can see that the 6-pounder on the bottom side did get killed, or at least one of them. There is still one up on the hill. But that definitely gives some breathing room to Tarsh's fire support units if he wants to make use of them. There is still the Honey, but with an engine destroyed, the 258 can kind of stay out of range of the Honey and then use its gun to fire at this infantry in these buildings. We're currently sitting on 57% territory lead for Chickendew. If he finds +2, things could start to get out of hand for Tarsh. But as we move into Phase C, that will be really where the difference is made. Now I do like, however, the sort of purchase of the Befehl Panzer IV. This is a really nice choice actually for dealing with, like, especially the units on the bottom side, the Honey and the Churchill 5. It can penetrate Churchills at close range. It's got like the decent aim time. It's got the veterancy. So yeah, I like that Panzer IV shot though. Now one thing I did just realise I didn't really explain very well was with the Befehltiger, because it has 1,200 meter range engagement, it's very good at, like, well, it's a little bit better than I let on, taking on the Churchill at max range. So if the Churchill was engaging the Tiger at 1,000 meter range, the Tiger would have effective 17 AP against the 15 front armour of the Churchill. But that is a one-shot from the 17-pounder. Tiger goes down and it doesn't even matter. Wow. That is one way to crush the hopes and dreams of your opponent. Holy moly. I'd like to see that Vespa take revenge as soon as possible, but that's gotta hurt. There are 2 of these 2-star 17-pounders. One's close enough to the well, command radius of the Churchill 7 to be very effective, and well, what a bait that was. Holy. Obviously Tarsh didn't see that coming. He has no recon in the mid ahead of his tank, so paid for that quite dearly. On this top side, 257 has been found by the Honey Stewart. The Honey is going to take out that nice and easy. Puma should really be helping out there if he can. You don't want to lose that half-jack for free if you don't have to. This Crocodile is going to take its sweet time to get around the tree line, so there was definitely a chance there for the Puma to get involved. That's surprising to me. Vespa has run out of ammunition. Did take down the 17-pounder to 3 health, but that's not very significant at this point. The fact we are in Phase C, however, is significant, and we'll have to see if Tarsh can bring it back from where he stands on the map currently, which is a very bad situation. Does find the kill with the Befehl Panzer IV onto the Honey on this bottom side. He also managed to kill off some assault pioneers here with his Puma. But now he's just getting it surrounded. He had a chance to take out the Honey and run, but now it's just kind of stuck there. It might be able to kill the Crocodile at close range if you can get a side shot, but in the front armour it's less than likely. Is he going to get the kill? No. The Puma is going to get forced back by the flames of the Crocodile, and then the Crocodile just finishes the job anyway. Oh wow, an investment into the 2-star Focke-Wulf 190 here from Tarsh. At this stage in the game, I'm not sure if that's a good choice at all. Maybe he bought it in Phase B, but the thing is with that Focke-Wulf 190, I'm not really too familiar with like the air units and what phases they come in, but that like 150 points that he spent on that Focke-Wulf 190 A8 would be way better spent elsewhere at this point, especially considering the amount of units he's losing on the ground. Like, he lost his Puma in the top side, he lost his now Panzergrens there, they're pretty much dead, the half-track's dead, and he's going to lose so much ground up there just because he decided to invest in an aircraft as opposed to a ground unit. And that kind of basically loses him the game, just as simple as that. Now this is like a +3 now in favour of Chickendew. Tarsh is kind of like run out of steam, it seems, even though he should be getting quite a lot of income at this point. But honestly, it mainly comes down to the fact that Chickendew now has 3 17-pounders on the field, 3 2-star 17-pounders, and 1 1-star 17-pounder on his top side, and it just makes it very difficult for Chickendew to make any ground without any significant artillery. Now, I did bring in the Vesper early on, and now that Chickendew has started to invest more in the 17-pounders than anything else, it seems like a good choice. But he's going to need another one now if he really wants to make a dent. And by the time he brings that in for another 150 points in Phase C, he's going to get overrun by the units heading his way. So this is looking really ugly right now for Tarsh, and the overall availability for the 15th Infantry Scots has really shown its strength moving into Phase B, just having like way more units on the field than the Panzer Lehr, and I feel like that's just gonna lead Chickendew to victory at this point. He's currently at a +3. There is 6 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock. You can see that the MMG carrier here has actually got right on top of this Vesper, but the Vesper actually fighting back with its machine gun has the potential to pin down the MG carrier entirely. But we can see on this bottom side, SBW does go down. Panzer IV also under fire. That's a recon unit gone there. Oh, on this top side, 17-pounder opening up once again. If that gets a kill onto the Tiger, it would be absolutely devastating. And down goes the Tiger. Wow. That is game over for Tarsh, and Tarsh knows it. He's going to surrender. So, after 24 minutes and 53 seconds, Chickendew is going to be victorious. Moving on to round 3. Congratulations to him. Commiserations to Tarsh, is going to be knocked down to the lower bracket. 1,770 kills for Chickendew with 995 losses. In terms of kills, we have the 6-pounders. I was saying they were doing very well in this game, and look at that. 258 kills, multiple half-track kills, Puma kill. The one on the bottom side, I think, was the one that killed the 2341 here. Or was that the original one? I think that was that one. And then this one was on the top side. Another 6-pounder kill. A lot of the reliance on these AT guns really worked out for Chickendew. I think it's just because there's limited answers on the side of Tarsh to deal with things like AT guns. So Chickendew just took advantage of that and ran away with the game in the end. Bringing in the Churchills in Phase B, I like that. Not so keen on Crocodiles, but the Churchill 7's very nice. And that's your lot. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this game. Make sure you guys check out the links in the description for everything to do with the second season of the Steel Division League. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.